You're listening to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard Timba, one of the tracks on the new album Transcendence by guitarist Dennis Haklar and percussionist Giovanni-Hidalgo, with appearances by vocalist Steffie-Moonlady. And the album is being considered for a Grammy nomination in the category of Best New Age Album. I know they have to say different things, like it's new age or it's blues
the
or
category.
rock. I know we have to put things in categories. I know it's the way the world works, but when you listen to the whole album, I promise you, it goes from it is a absolute journey. I would just say I want a new category, journey music. That's what I want. So anyway, go to DennisHaklar.com, and it's HAKLAR.com, DennisHaklar.com, to download the album. But welcome, Dennis. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, we're doing good. Can we have a journey category for music like yours, like a new sonic journey category?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great classification. But unfortunately, that's not one of the ones that are out there yet. But we're blazing new trails here. So that's kind of the spirit that Giovanni and I have taken from the onset of this work.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nancy, I heard you wanted to say something about the journey of.
I just felt like I was hiking.
Yeah.
And then you get to a peak and you're looking down into the valley and there's birds flying and you're above the birds. That's that one
great.
hike where in the Gila Wilderness where we hiked. It just sent me right there.
Did you say Hilo, Hawaii?
No,
Gila
Wilderness.
It's in New Mexico, southwest New Mexico.
Yeah.
The Gila National Forest, actually one of our very first national forests in New Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
And I love the name Transcendence because the title of the album. To me, that is. I think we need that now, don't we? We all have to beam up in some way. You know what I mean? You have to have that spiritual core. Your album, to me, I trip out on. I enjoy that because I can actually meditate with music that you created. Like I can go on any journey I want, and it takes away the monkey mind of meditation, and yet it's not truly meditation music to me, but for me, I need that. It's got a cool balance because of the percussion. I think that's what's helping.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, it absolutely does. Because when Giovanni first got together with myself, we basically discussed that we didn't want to lock ourselves into any specific genre. You see, because Giovanni. He's really well known for his work with Mickey Hart of the Grateful Dead, with Planet Drum, and a lot of Latin albums that he has done as leader, and he's played with Dizzy Gillespie amongst a whole variety of different artists. And I myself have worked with John Henderson of Yes and Larry Coryell and a whole lot of different artists, Randy Brecker, et cetera. So, but together, collectively, we could have made an album that was more targeted towards jazz fusion or, a specific genre, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to create something quite different. So he said to me, just be yourself, and I was like, oh, okay, which one?
Yeah, okay, there you go.
So many different, genres that I have explored throughout the years, but I understood, exactly what, was the impetus behind this project, and he did as well. So we didn't talk about it all that much. We just basically, started recording. He had come over to my studio over here, Europa in Florida, and we basically got together and started recording. And we didn't know exactly what direction we were going to go in just at first. We just started recording a series of improvisations. And they were kind of structured improvisations in the sense of I wanted to leave enough room for something else to go on top of it, because at first it was just him and I on guitar and synthesized guitar, and Gio was playing tuned percussion of various sorts. And we had continued this string of works, basically just recording into the night and into the next day and into the next day after that. So we had left it like that. This project goes back a while. It goes back about 2 years. That's how far back it goes, actually. Yeah, that's how long it took to actually, master and finish all of the things that I wanted to do on top of it. So you could imagine I had all this mountain of music that I had recorded with him, and how can you decide which one is better than the other? It's just like you said, hiking in the woods. How do you decide which view is better?
Yeah.
But I wanted to create something, or we wanted to create something of a concept, which is the meditational aspect of transcendence. And I think we achieved that because we were able to transcend or transport the listener into another world. So I'm not going to tell you what world that is. It's up to you it's a personal thing. So whatever world you go to is in your collective unconsciousness, and this is where it takes you. And that's what we try to do with the music. So once I took all those pieces, I started, sifting through them. And as you can imagine, over time, it takes a lot to take each one and build upon it. And that's exactly what I did. Once I got to a certain point where I was shaping the forms of everything and putting them all together into a collective, larger scale of works that were related to each other, then I brought in Steffie-Moonlady. She's a fantastic vocalist, and I've been working with I've been working with her for over 35 years. I come from this recording studio that I was the chief engineer over in New Jersey, a place called Pyramid Recording, and that's where we had met and started working together. And together we had formed a specific sound, and it's not just, put up a mic and sing. It's a whole series of processing. See, because I'm heavily influenced by the works of Brian Eno and the avant-garde school of John Cage, where you take something and you make it into something else. So I would take her voice and I would synthesize it, run it through a Korg mini Moog, and then process it further, and then blend it with the actual voice and things like that. So there's a lot of that going on in the album.
That's what I like about it. I think that she adds this whole transcendent part of it, and because then you got the percussion, you got the guitar, you got all kinds of things going on, but it's still flowing, and that's a delicate balance. It's so funny. I'm sitting in the jazz room here where we are in Peachtree City right now, and I'm looking at all this jazz art all around me while we're talking to you and listening. And it's interesting to me because it still has that little underlying of jazz where you don't quite know where it's going to go. And I think that's that beauty, is that you don't know where it's going to go, but when you first start listening to music, you want to trust it, right? You want to trust it to keep listening.
Yeah, you have to have faith. You have to trust in where the spirit is going to guide you, because essentially Gio and I are both jazz artists. He's primarily known in the jazz genre as well as I am, but we didn't want to do a jazz, quote unquote, jazz album per se. I mean, I guess you could consider this a jazz album, but I wouldn't really call it a jazz album.
It's got
a
hair, like a fault line, not a, you know what I mean? Like if you look at geology, you got like a, a hair of it running through. What I also wanted to ask, you were talking about Moog, right? Have you been to the Moog Festival in Asheville, North Carolina? Have you heard of that? That they have a Moog Fest?
Yeah, the Bob Moog's factory was there in Asheville, and that's where his plant was. You know, that's where he manufactured. God rest his soul. He was the creator of just so much beauty in the world with his sonic textures. I mean, Keith Emerson was the one who really took it to the next level when he amped Bob's work. But Bob, you know, he started working with the avant-garde artists of the day back in, you know, New York City. There was festivals, and Bob would go and, you know, be there with his early prototypes of, his inventions, and it was just revolutionary to music. So I love that.
Awesome.
I mean, I love, even though I'm a guitarist, per se, I love synthesizers. I mean, I just adore the music of Tangerine Dream, and I just love electronic music, and that's why it kind of works its way into the things that I do. Even on my previous album, which
that's
was
the word. It's embryonic.
Embryonic,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
so
it
even
is.
on,
I think
on
we're going to beam up. We are going to beam up then. That's what it is. That's why
cool.
we're attracted to this music. We're going to beam up. You know it's coming. You know the merging of the other world and it's happening. You know it is. I think this is
we're getting very close to that.
But it's only our mindset that keeps us from already being part of the other world.
Okay.
See?
See, this is what happens when you listen to this kind of music. You start tripping out, man.
Well,
Dude,
exactly.
it's only champagne over here. I'm telling you.
Right.
We have boundaries and our boundaries, for the most part, are man-made. Now, nature has its own boundaries, and she will take control when she wants and needs to. But we put up so many boundaries on ourselves that, and maybe some boundaries are needed so we don't hurt each other. But I think there's a lot of boundaries that we grew up with that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
It's like, think the way I think and do what I do what I say, and then you just follow that lead, and you do what you're told, and you're schooled a certain way, and you're supposed to believe certain things. But I think deep down, I look at, I watch animals all the time, and they're like, "Nah, I don't believe in any of your boundaries."
Yeah.
You know,
you're going to transcend. That's it.
Yeah. The freedom is in not having boundaries placed upon you. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Here's an interesting story. When I had gotten to a certain point, and I started, presenting the works back to Gio, because he hadn't heard them in about a year or so, and then as I've been working on them and building them, and then I presented that to him, and then he got even more excited and wanted to do, overdubs of additional percussions to it, as I have done with my tracks, and we shaped it into this, this amoeba that came out of it, and it started to take life into other, organisms, and it just started becoming this organic floating thing. So he said to me, I would love on the track Bongi to add wind. So I'm thinking to myself, well, that's great, but wind is just not going to cut it. I mean, that's just not what I was thinking about as far as the intensity of this. So I had lived through a Hurricane Irma down here, and I took a pocket recorder of the hurricane, and I went outside and I had recorded the winds and the frogs. So the frogs, as you were saying, in nature, they have this, Mother Nature has this way of alerting you that something's going to go down. So the frogs, they go into this call and response kind of a chant, kind of like the, what happens in other parts of the world when they do that call and response kind of organic chant. And so I had captured that, and then I had captured some of the winds without it terribly distorting, and then I put that on the beginning. So the very first thing that you hear when you put on Transcendence is Hurricane Irma, the real Hurricane Irma. So it's kind of cool.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Let's
play it. Let's play it for everybody, because when I first listened, and I'm glad you pronounced it, because I had all kinds of ways to pronounce bongi. It's Bongui, so it is a bong with the e on the end, but a different e.
Okay.
No, it's a trip out music.
It's
I'm
a Spanish
serious, man.
word. It's a Spanish. The titles are Spanish.
Yeah, it's interesting. Going through all the titles. To me, I just start listening. And then it's like, oh, which one was that? But let's play it for everybody, because I recognize the sounds, and we just went through a hurricane.
Yeah,
Nancy and I, we travel.
Right.
We travel full time, and we're in a different place all the time. And we were just in one, but we didn't get the brunt of it. We didn't get like the big part that Pensacola and everything did. We were very lucky, and but we were on a farm, and the frogs were doing it, and the rain.
Mm-hmm.
And I do record, like we record people everywhere we go, and I'm starting to think, and there are musicians that I know that are now going out, like a musician that went to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and then also went diving with this recorder, and he recorded a hermit crab coming out of the shell, all these different things, and then utilizing it. So I'm starting to think that I need to record, like I record things for iNaturalist, because there's all this weird stuff out there, man. They're saying, recordings of sound, and now I'm like, I should start recording.
Yeah, there's a whole universe of
stuff
sound that we're not even aware of.
I should start recording all this stuff because we're out in the woods all the time.
You should definitely do that.
I know.
Lisa, record an earthworm, because they have 32 hearts. Now, somewhere along the earthworm, we got to hear the heartbeat. 32 hearts.
Well, you need special gear to record that. Like you need like special transducers. It's not just like you're gonna stick a microphone on there with a pocket recorder and capture that.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if you're expecting to hear the typical sound of a hurricane coming in, you're not going to, because I had to filter it off, because it was just like, I couldn't put that on there because it would sound like noise. But, like what you do with a standard recorder, if you do what you're talking about, is you have to process it a little bit, or have special forms of transducers. Like they record whales, and they have special transducers that go underwater that capture the whale song. All that's beautiful. I've even heard that they are now going to be transmitting frequencies back from the sounds of Mars when they put the rover on there. So, man, would I love to hear some of that.
Ew.
Oh, my gosh. That's got to be interesting. So, I mean, we just have to have the right recording gear when you go out.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. Some of that gear is extremely high-end, expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be doing that right now. I don't know.
Well, do what you can, though. I mean, there's a lot of cool sounds that you could capture in nature with just, like regular recording systems.
Yeah. I mean, there's
the
a thing.
Birds alone.
Well, to me, like, even
But the moral of the story is just a heightened awareness to sounds that are just not typical. And that's kind of like what I tried to do with Transcendence, is to incorporate a lot of these textures and sounds into, we wanted to create something that wasn't already done. We wanted to basically transcend, so take you on a higher level. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It's pure integrity with what you've done is pure integrity, and I really appreciate that, because without pure integrity, there is no art. Period.
Yes,
and
thank you.
This is art.
And I appreciate that you're getting it right. That's beautiful.
Yeah, man, I'm tripping out. Here it is. Listen to Bongi. You're listening to Big Blend Radio Champagne Sunday Show, and you just heard amphibian music.
No.
That's the new name now from
No,
Transcendence, the
dude.
album out by Dennis Haklar that was called Bongi. And I know
Man.
that's an amphibian song because it's like the tweener zone. It's like I'm in the water, I'm out. I'm in the water, I'm out.
No, you know what? You know where? See, my mind went to. Where's the place where? I think it's Point Reyes, and it was all foggy in the afternoon, and we went, and there was a carcass there, and then vultures came in, but we're on the beach.
Point Reyes National Seashore. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's where my mind went. There,
now you're going to vultures picking out a carcass. That's real nice.
Yeah,
fancy.
I know because it
Sorry,
was like
Dennis.
I know.
No, it's cool. I mean, all of these images are part of nature, and that's what that's what we were trying to incorporate into the music. I mean, you mentioned earlier the Volcanoes National Park, and that's actually where I went on my honeymoon, and it was really a wild place where we went. In the middle of the night, we would go where you go past the tape where they don't allow you to go anymore, and we just went past there. Kind of dangerous because at any point the lava tubes could open up and you get swallowed. But we were young, we didn't care, so we went down there, and but it was amazing. I mean, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. You see live lava flow into the ocean, creating this gargantuan cloud of steam, and you could hear the roar of the lava mixing with the ocean. And again, it was just like something that stayed with me all my life. And these images, as you're saying, is what you go to when you start to transcend with this music, and it's part of your collective unconscious of all the things that you've experienced in your life are going to come out. So here we are in this period of COVID, and so much has been taken away from us as performing artists. It's been stripped.
Yeah.
So what do we
sorry.
have? We have our collective or unconsciouses of all the things that we've done in our lives, and it's a beautiful time to reflect on that. And so I took advantage of this period and finished the album because like when as a musician you're always doing things, you're doing this, doing that, and you never get around to doing what you really need to do. I mean, as far as finishing the tracks that we started. So during the down cycle, I was able to hunker down and really focus in and really do the mixing and the mastering. I mean, some of these tracks had like up to 64 channels of sounds coming in and out. And
oh my God!
As you could imagine, like one over. I mean, it came down to I had the perfect mix.
Yeah, you are a geek. You are a geek. I'm sorry, but
a total geek.
It's
absolutely
awesome,
right. But it came
awesome.
down to like when it comes down to like one, guitar hit is too loud, or one vocal foray is just too dominant, or one conga hit is too loud. It would ruin the mix, because when you're in a state and something knocks you out of that state, like the wake up alarm, that's not cool. Like it's like it takes you out of
that
where
is not cool.
Where I meant for you to be. So I was very careful, and that's one of the things. If I had the opportunity to go into one of these immersive audio studios where you could mix in 5.1, oh my God, that would be a dream come true for me, to mix this in 5.1. But I did the best I could with stereo, with two speakers left and right, and I think I achieved the goal. But I'm telling you, it took like literally like you're listening to well over 1,000 hours of work into this.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And
it's taking me to places that I've been.
Yeah.
And it's really odd. Like I'm going to go over there now.
I told you, you're going to trip out. I love it, and I really appreciate it. It's true art, and I sent you a link to a Hawaii thing, so just so you know, check your email.
Yeah, you should really.
Because
cool.
I wanted to, before I forget, I got to tell you. So the National Parks Arts Foundation, we work with them. We have a whole show dedicated to them every first Friday, and artists,
Wow.
musicians, painters, writers, everyone. You can submit to have your own the artist residencies they have. You go for a full month in a national park. One is in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and you
Wow.
get this house outside of the park, but you go and you create. The house is a 6-bedroom house with a recording studio. I'm just saying,
Wow.
you're overlooking
Yeah,
the ocean.
you really need
You
to
should
do
apply
this.
for this.
Yes.
And there's one
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
Dry Tortugas National Park. You get your own island for a full month, and you have to take somebody else with you. I'm just saying.
Wow, that's so cool. Thank you so much. I'm going to definitely check that out.
Yeah, and the one guy that I interviewed, Andy Harima, he did go out there and do all that recording that we were talking about with all the animals and stuff, and it was totally trippy cool. I think it's really neat because you're making the music bigger than yourselves when you start incorporating sounds from the outside, and then all this extra work you're doing, it's just far bigger than it's far bigger. It really is. So I really appreciate it. I know Nancy and I both, and I think it's so cool because people can have their own visions of it, and you're going to have a different vision every time you listen
something
to it.
different.
And I'm taking your music on the road into parks. Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me?
Oh boy!
Awesome.
Yeah, we should make
Thank
videos.
you. Yeah,
of it.
so absolutely. Yeah, it's like it's not pop music, so it's not gonna catch fire like the Beatles or anything like that. But it's it's immersive, meditative music for. And I know there's a lot of people out there. It's just I can't reach them because I don't know basically how to reach them. That's why I so much appreciate you giving me a voice on your platform to reach out to people. And it's like the more the more support that is given to us, just by visiting our website and supporting us, the more we could continue to do things like this. And absolutely, I'm going to check out the foundation that you mentioned because I love Hawaii. I've been meaning to get back there ever since I've been there. I never wanted to leave.
So they have
it's like being on another planet over there.
There's
we went up to Mauna Kea and we watched the moon rise, and I thought it was another planet. That's how large the moon was up there.
Wow!
When it was just coming over the horizon, all these images come to mind.
I think you'd also be really cool at Chaco Canyon, out of North New Mexico. It's where the ceremonial sites of the ancient peoples, like the
that'd be interesting.
And I just have a feeling about that because it's a mystery. Because they look like dwellings and they're circles out of rock. And how did they put? It's like going to it's like going to Egypt, and it is. But they were ceremonial for a summer solstice, and so it's a big deal. And when you go out there, there's a nature and there's crows everywhere in the canyons, and it is you're on a different planet, and you will totally trip out. And I think your music will. I can already hear you would use the crow. Like I know you would. Like it's there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I think you would totally dig that. But I do want to play.
I was so influenced by the works of. Remember the Adventures of Don Juan, Carlos Castaneda?
Yeah.
Did you ever read those books? Oh my God, I love those books. Those are like so influential to me. I love that kind of stuff. Being out in the desert.
That's so cool. Yeah, see that's you should totally apply. You should
really apply.
Yeah. You must. And they're
sold.
Yes, cool.
Okay, info. We're gonna play that. We got to get running because we got another segment coming up. But it's been such a delight having you on the show. Before you go, what is your champagne toast? What are you happy about? Because we got to stay happy, man.
Absolutely. So my champagne toast is that I am grateful for health and the ability to share music with people in this modern age of the podcast. We all need to respect each other and do what we can to move in a positive direction by helping, each other out with just keeping hope alive and in the face of adversity. And above all, I'd like to thank God for everything. Thank God for nature. Thank God for everything, really.
Right on. Well, champagne toast to you. I mean, it's and we got a toast also, Giovanni being part of it, and best of luck with the Grammy nomination. Dude, everybody
Appreciate
that's doing
it.
all
Thank
that
you.
stuff, I know there's like all those
Yeah.
people out there that look at the nominations and say, okay, now they can really be in there. I've got friends in that. Now go do it. Go do
All
it.
right. All right. All right.
So
Thank you
that we
so
can
much.
raise a glass of
Appreciate it. Let's
champagne
do
together.
this again real soon.
Yeah.
All right. You take care and stay in touch. Here it is, everybody. Info again from the album Transcendence by guitarist Dennis Haklar and also recorded with percussionist Giovanni-Hidalgo. I keep on saying Hidalgo. It's Hidalgo. And also appearances by Steffie-Moonlady. So here it is. And you can go to DennisHaklar.com to download everything from the storefront. It's Haklar is Haklar. Thanks so much, Dennis. You take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.